Hey, good evening. And how are you today? How are you doing? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, 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 welcome. Come on. We're just giving just you a few minutes to come on. And those of you who have heard about this perspective video that we're going to make today, Nurse Jean is making today, is how to remain peaceful in times of chaos and unrest. And this is coming from a psychological perspective. A psychological perspective. Because sometimes when we are going through our trials, when we're going through our struggles, then we know that our mind can decide which road to take. We could either take the high road or we could take the road to destruction, the slippery slope road that takes us deeper and deeper into emotional anguish, anxiety, fear, anger, bitterness. All of those emotions come up at times. And so it is very, very hard when you are going through conflicts, when you're going through situations that are emotionally taxing. It is hard to think that something good can come out of it, or you can think positive about it. But I want you to know that when you go through anything psychological, it takes a toll on our body. Our body has certain reaction to chaos, unrest, anger, frustration, emotional upheaval. And so I just wanted to come real quickly to remind you that we are resilient. We are resilient. We have been through so much and we have come out of it and we're still moving forward. So just want to remind you real quickly that yes, even though you are going through a trying time, we will all come out of it. We will all come out of it. And we will be able to get back to where we were before. But right now, in the present of it, I just wanted to give you like a few points. I have about 8 points that I want to share with you that will help you work through the anxiety, help you work through the struggle, the unrest, so that you can be peaceful. It is important that we become peaceful, because when we're not peaceful, it means that our body's in stress, our mind is in a stressful condition. So what could happen? What are some things that could happen when we are experiencing stress, whether it's severe or whether it is minimal stress, mild stress? We're not sure what kind of stress you are experiencing. But stress is stress, and it causes a reaction on our bodies. And lots of time, the reactions are not positive reactions. Now, we know that we grow by the stress that we place on our growth plates. That's something positive. But when unrest is going on, when people are worried, people are anxious, people are nervous, those are negative emotions, and they causes our body to react likewise. So let me give you about 3 or 4, 5 or 6 symptoms that someone will experience when they are stressful. When you are stressed, you have muscular tension. Some people uses the jaw, they grind their teeth. Some people have back pain. Some people have shoulder pain. Why? Because you're tense. Your muscles become tense and they're not relaxed. So we need you to, we know that stress causes muscular tension. Number two, you can have a headache. Stress causes headaches. Stress causes gastrointestinal symptoms, including acid reflux, stomach ache, constipation, and or diarrhea. So when we are stressed, our digestive system react in different ways. For some people, they may experience acid reflux, because what happens is there's an acid buildup in your stomach because of the stress, and it pushes up into the esophagus. Hey, Peaches, welcome. It pushes up into the stomach, and then that acid causes that uncomfortable sensation in your esophagus, and that's what they call acid reflux. The acid in your stomach goes up into your esophagus. So that could happen when you're stressed in the digestive system. Also, you could experience stomach pain. Have you ever been nervous and your stomach just start twisting and getting tight, and you're feeling anxious? You ever had that sensation? That happens. Some people have diarrhea, some people have constipation. One of the big things that stress causes is high blood pressure. So high blood pressure, you may be sweating, you may have palpitation or arrhythmia in the heart. Your heart starts beating fast, and the rhythm are not synchronized. So that's what you call arrhythmia. So those are some symptoms that you and I would experience if we are under a stressful situation. Life is a series of peaks and valleys. And sometimes you are up, and sometimes you are just down and cannot get up. But it is in the difficult times where we need a little more support and guidance. I am a firm believer that it is how you respond in your moments of defeat, in your moment of depression, in your moment of disappointment, in your moment of sadness. It is how you respond to it is going to make you become successful. So let me give you, I have 8 items that I'm going to just really speak real shortly to let you know the things that you can do to help when you are stressed, when you are in a time of sheer panic in your head. Remember, all of this starts with our thought processes. They start with the fear, the anger, the anguish, the sadness. All of this starts right there with our emotions. And so we must be able to have some coping mechanism. So I have like 8 coping mechanisms that I'm going to quickly run through. One of them is stay positive. I know. How can you stay positive in a situation that is stressful? How can you do that? When you stay positive, you are putting yourself in the best position possible to not only make it through the hard times, but become a better person. Look for something positive in that situation. One of the things that you could say, well, I am alive. That's positive. I can raise my hand. That's positive. I can breathe. That's positive. There are people who are alive, but they can't breathe. And there are people who are alive, but they cannot see. So you have all of these other attributes that you could say, well, I am alive. I can see. I can talk. That is something positive. All right? So I'm not saying to get up and have a joy jumping up and down. That's not what it is. It's looking for something positive that you can garner from this unrest, from this chaos. And one of the things that you could always look at is yourself. You are alive. So that's number one. Stay positive, get something positive to look at and get it going. The other thing you must look at is what you're grateful for. In all of this chaos, at least I'm grateful that I'm not in the heat of the battle. In all of this chaos, at least I can have my room where I can go into my room and find a quiet place. So those are some things to be grateful for. So we must stay positive, know what we're grateful for, learn from difficult times. In every situation that we are experiencing, there is a learning curve. And if we can always remember that, then we can look at the situation and see, well, what have I learned from this condition? What can I learn from this? I wanted to give you a John Maxwell. He says facing difficulties is inevitable. Means you're going to always face some type of situation. You're going to face some type of opposition. You're going to face some type of unrest. You're going to face some kind of situation. Hi, Miss Chanel. Welcome. You're going to be facing that. But what are you learning from that? He said, facing difficulties is inevitable. Learning from them is optional. He said, when I find myself in the middle of an ugly situation, I like to pick everything apart and see what went wrong and what I could do differently. I always end up learning something that helps me. And I eventually get a really clear picture of what I need to do to make sure I'm not in the same situation again. So learn from the difficult times. Learn from it. See what's going on. Pick it apart. See how it started. Look at the process of what happened. And how can you learn to do something differently? How can you see it in another light? All right? So it's very important that we learn from our difficulties. So 1 is stay positive. 2 is know what we are grateful for. 3 is learn from the difficult times. And 4 is to focus on what you can control. Isn't that important? Because there's a lot of things that happen to us all at one time, and there's certain things we have no control over. So what about looking at what we can control? For me, I see that situations in my life, I can control how much I think about it. All right? I can control how much I focus on the wrong thing and what everyone is doing to me or what everyone has said to me or what everyone wants me to believe. You should instead focus on the things that are within your control, because that's the only way you can make a change that's actually going to help you. What can you control in these difficult times? Let's look at the media. We can control looking at the media. We could censor ourselves with social media, with the news, and looking at all those news at all times. We can control that. So control that. We can decide, well, you know what? Instead of being angry, I'm just going to pray for someone. That's something that you can do. You can control that. You can tell yourself, I am not going to allow myself to look at the news and to get upset again. Because every time you look at the news, you incite your emotional feelings, and they come so visceral, and you get all anxious, and then guess what? It goes into your pressure goes up. You start getting palpitation. You get so angry. So those are some things that you want to look at. As you look at that, remember that you have an ability to control the things that you can. Now, the things you cannot control, you leave it alone. Whatever the commentator says on the news, you leave it alone. Whatever other people are saying that are negative, leave that alone. You can't control that. All right? But you also could control it by not looking at it at all. So this is the process that you're going through. You're going through a time of unrest, struggle, but you want peace. So you have to have a positive mindset. You have to know what you're grateful for. You have to learn from the difficult times. You have to focus on the things that you can control, and then realize how you have come a long way. You have come a long way, and I have come a long way. Sometimes we get so focused on the road ahead that we never look back to see what we have already traveled. This is big. Give yourself credit for everything you have already done. So you'll give yourself the confidence and boost when you realize that you already made so much progress, and the light at the end of the tunnel will get progressively brighter. So remember, these are all psychological scenarios in which we can use to help us to overcome and to stay peaceful. Once you have received your peace, try not to go back into chaos. Build a community. Sometimes when you want a community that is loving, a community that is caring, a community that is honest, you want to get yourself around people who are honest, caring, and also that they are accountable, that they will tell you the truth. Because sometimes we are around people and they don't tell us the truth. We may be acting out of the norm, but they don't care. So they don't want to check you on that. They want to tell you, well, you know what, that's not the right thing to do. But we need a community, people who know you, people who have been through what you've been through or going through. You need people that can help you to go through and to keep you accountable. Community is important because it helps us to have someone to understand what it is that we are going through. We need that. So that's number 6. Number 7, be kind to yourself. Sometimes we are so hard on ourselves, so very hard on ourselves, and we beat up ourselves so much. But be kind to yourself. Tell yourself it's okay. And if you want to cry, cry. It's nothing wrong in crying. If you want to scream, scream. If you want to jump up and down, run around the house, give yourself that opportunity. But don't be too hard on yourself, because what we do is we're so hard on ourselves that we miss the mark to be happy. We miss the mark to see the good things. We miss the mark to recognize the lessons that we are having during our struggles. Let's remember that. Be kind to yourself, because sometimes you would be the only one who's kind to yourself, because a lot of people are negative people. They have negative behavior. They have negative thoughts. Their atmosphere is negative. And when you're around them, you're not going to get anything positive. So you must be very kind to yourself. Give yourself a break. If you forget to do something, give yourself a break. If you forget to call a friend, give yourself a break. If you forget the groceries, to pick up the groceries at the grocery store, give yourself a break, because there's a lot of other things that's going on in your life that you're focusing on, and something may fall by the wayside. But give yourself a break, because you could always go back and pick it up. And the last thing that I want to tell you, in allowing your making sure that you have peace in the time of chaos, in the time of struggle, in the time of your challenges, in the time of this pandemic, in the time of all these riotings that's going on, psychologically it can tear you down. But what I want to leave with you is, remember to forgive. Forgive. If someone else is at fault for the bad situation you find yourself in, the natural response is to harbor anger, resentment towards that person. But what if instead you forgave that person? You accepted what happened, but you no longer held it against them. You will feel much better, because now instead of focusing on the negative things, the negative feelings you have towards that individual, you can focus on moving forward. Isn't that awesome? So tonight, I quickly tell you 8 strategies that you could use when you are struggling with chaos, especially now we are in a pandemic and we may be struggling with many, many issues. And our psychological outlook could be very grim. But I want to tell you, these little things that I've explained to you will help you to be a better person. You would be at peace with yourself. You would not be so angry and caught up in all that negative emotion. So I'm going to go over it again. 1, stay positive. Find something positive in all of the situation that you're in. Find something positive that you can see or you're experiencing. And one of the things is you're alive. And once you're alive, you have hope. And if you have hope, then you have an expectation that one day it's not going to always be like this. It's going to change. Important to know. 2, know what you're grateful for. After you find that you're staying positive, you find the things you're grateful for, and then you learn from the difficult times. So that if you learn from the difficult times, then you can focus on what you can control and leave the rest that you cannot control. And then when you do that, you realize you've come a long way because you've been through this process. And it is a process, what we are going through right now. So I wanted to just come by and tell you that and build up a community of people that know you. If some of you pray, then get with a prayer community. You know, if you have PTSD, then you can find a group of people who are experiencing that and they can talk about it. If you have psychological needs, there's always lots of different clubs that you can join and be a part of so that you could find your niche. And we say build your community, and after you build your community, you be kind to yourself. And not only that, but forgive yourself for being so hard on yourself and forgive others. If we follow these 8 strategies, these steps, you're going to find yourself in a different situation, in a different place. You're going to be able to handle the situation, and you're going to have that peace. You're going to have that peace. So thank you very much. This is a short program. Just want to let you know and wrap it up right now. Thank you for coming on. This is Nurse Jean and giving you the psychological perspective of how you can overcome when you're experiencing chaos and unrest, and you can have the peace. So, as they say with the young people, peace out. Enjoy. Practice it every day. All right? And you will be healthy psychologically.